I did an oral histories interview this morning, and it was a really good exercise for me to move into a different quality of space holding, and the challenge being about not using vocal affirmations to indicate interest and engagement and listening. No ahas or and trying to be present with the awareness of using more facial cues and non-verbal communication with body language, and trying to keep the vocalization part reduced as much as possible. I think there were only a few points where I, carried through with that communication. But this is the challenge of the coordination, I think, when it's something that you're not practicing with all the time. It's like doing a belly rub and a head pat at the same time, of the necessity to not be going, aha, yeah, but to still allow there to be a communication and expression that elicits that same supportive, affirmative, engaged quality, because that has been something that has been stimulated in response to what somebody is saying. And it's important when someone is sharing a story or disclosing information that's personal to them and is about their life, that you offer some feedback in a way that is letting them know, like, I'm connected and I'm present and I'm here with you right now, and I'm available, but just not expressing that in a way that is audible, and therefore disrupting the recording quality, because it's about them and their story. So I haven't actually had a chance to listen back yet to that, and it will all need to be transcribed and everything. But yeah, it was a good exercise for me as well, in that quality of space holding where there's a specific purpose and intention and structure with questions and whatever the project happens to be. And I might share more specifics on that at a later time, when things are kind of further down the line. But whatever the project happens to be, this appreciation of, you can have somebody that's there in a space with you that is calling things to memory and sharing details about their life, and that there can be moments that are challenging or that stir up old emotions or things that are maybe uncomfortable for them. And that is palpable, the atmosphere in a space when someone is trying to negotiate their inner landscape of communication, that maybe the way that they're presenting and able to share information is kind of coming through in a way that they're providing that there, and that's all available, and it's comprehensible. But behind that, there there maybe is a kind of a wave of emotion that is actually also expressing itself, but that maybe doesn't come through in a visceral way in the vocal quality. You know, if there's a kind of withholding of that, which is actually necessary for that individual to be able to continue sharing in a way that feels safe for them, and also, yeah, that creates it's not like a separation in the sense that it's a disconnect of the emotion of the story, because I think that's part and parcel of the telling that comes through. But certainly when it's something that's very powerful and has weight behind it, the narrative style can sort of hold on to a more structured kind of intellectual part of us that helps to kind of ground it and kind of keep it contained. And then there can be this other part, which is this emotional part that's kind of like, oh, there's lots here that's being stimulated and shifting and moving, and that is something that perhaps is a gift for that individual to process, you know, in their own time and in their own way, and not necessarily in the context of that space that's being created for the specific purpose of capturing the oral history stuff. And I think so much of this is dependent on, you know, relationship and dynamic, and also, yeah, the qualities of the people that are in the room, you know, who is participating and engaging, and what are their what are the tools that they have available to them, and what is their usual communication style. And I think that's the beauty of having a kind of structure with questions that really are about inviting there to be a deeper exploration or expansion on ideas, you know, that it's like a gentle prompt that kind of probes a little deeper, but that actually we don't necessarily know what the impact of a deepening and intensification around speaking to a subject will elicit for that person until that nerve is touched, or until that part of their emotional landscape is you know, activated in some way. So that's kind of given me an insight today as well about, I suppose it's the safeguarding thing, and it's also then about, you know, your individual capacity as a listener to be prepared for the possibility that the emotional landscape of that discussion and disclosure might take you to some interesting twists and turns, and yeah, that's okay. That is okay. But that also, I think it's good to be prepared for that, so that it doesn't take you by surprise. And having explored that in a kind of theoretical training landscape is different to an actual experience where you get a taste of that firsthand. And that kind of came through today. So that was one of my main insights from today's interview. And looking forward to the next stage of the creative process with that, with transcribing. And maybe the audio will need a little bit of tidying up as well. I haven't listened to it yet. So looking forward to that. And I just wanted to share a little snippet of that creative activity from today, thinking about the the voice as well.